I'm right now the host, the producer, and the presenter of a show called Future Talk. And I'm writing a book about the future. Why?
طب chill stop. Leave it for them.
I don't know who's interviewing whom. I can interview myself, by the way. Mo, do you know something? Do you know on the radio, and usually I'm by myself, and I'm in the studio by myself, and I pick up topics and I just talk, and I don't have a co-host, and usually it's by myself.
Amazing.
So I just like, so I'm like, hey guys, what's going on? And I'm so used to talking to myself in the studio, and it's weird having somebody with me. It's like, oh my God, you're invading my space, bro.
I'm keeping that.
Oh,
It's
no
recording,
way.
yeah.
I hate you.
Amar,
Habibi.
thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Saraha, as you said, I will leave it to you. I will just chill. I'm gonna have my coffee.
Thank you very
And you
much
show me your radio
for this
skills.
amazing opportunity. Yes, yeah, you can have your coffee. Thank you for bringing me my invisible specialty coffee. So according to my philosophy of coffee, for those of you out there and the rest of the world, you have to understand, life is too short for commercial coffee. AKA Starbucks and the rest of this poison, okay?
Why is it poison? I don't understand.
Specialty coffee, for those of you who may know already, it's handcrafted coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Your beans are roasted in a certain way, come from a different...
Okay.
Were you dozing off while I was speaking?
Bro, what were you drinking before specialty coffee? What were you drinking before specialty coffee?
Poison coffee.
And how did you feel?
Very bad.
Pumped.
No! That's why I'm only going to stay with my Dubai, bringing you the finest of the water from Dubai.
No, but seriously, okay, this coffee, I'm drinking iced Americano with no sugar.
Yeah.
How is it poison? What's poison? Just water and coffee.
La,
Ice.
the actual coffee itself.
The beans itself.
Yeah. Do you know how it was brewed? There's V60, there's Chemex, there's drip, there's several ways.
So they just grind it and...
So there's a way
machine.
to, so you got to know how the whole process happens. And for me, I like to see that whole science happen in front of me.
My God, man.
I know. I'm a bit boring that way, man. But
It's not boring, it's just too...
I know.
So if somebody invites you...
Starbucks? I'll have water there.
You walk in somebody's office and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
would you like coffee? Nope.
I'll have tea.
Tea. But how do you know this tea is not brewed in the way that you would like it as well?
It's
And
not
there's
that-
specialty tea as well.
I only have green tea and adi. So
That's okay with you. Okay.
Yeah.
We could be talk. I actually, you know what? When I message people sometimes,
Yeah.
when I invite them to the show, I actually ask them like, okay, like it's gonna be open format, whatever you want to talk about, and I just say, but like, if you want to talk about coffee, you can talk about coffee.
Oh my God.
That's
that's
randomly
epic.
just-
Yeah. So we already did it, huh? Man, I could talk about coffee the whole time. Because in the future, inshallah, one day, I hope to open my own coffee place, you know? Like, look at this place, Dubai right
Yeah.
now, the UAE,
Yeah.
it's like booming with coffee shops everywhere.
So how are you
Inshallah,
gonna
one
be
day,
different?
I'm going to bring my flair
What's your flair?
and my swag.
What's that?
It'll have like a lot of like lyrics and quotes from Drake.
Okay.
Yeah, you know? Yeah,
But
something like
do
that.
you think, like, yeah, Dubai is definitely a market for the specialty coffee.
Yeah, they love it here.
But I mean,
I know.
it's like, coffee shouldn't be expensive. Coffee is cheap.
Now, how much is coffee at Starbucks?
Okay, Starbucks is a bit expensive because it's commercial and
See?
it's like a brand
Yeah.
name.
You're absolutely right. My mom says the same thing.
Yeah.
And the end is just like, I will go get coffee from the supermarket and I can make the amount of money you spend on one cup of coffee, I can make coffee for you for a month. Which
Correct.
she has a point. I know.
Yeah.
So hopefully when I open my own place, I'm going to actually invest in something where I can get the beans for very cheap. And when I drink coffee, I mean, with the amount of money I spent on coffee so far,
Yeah.
well, honestly, yes, you're right. So I would
Crazy.
rather open my own place than invest so much into a cup of coffee. It's like 20, 25 dirham sometimes. It's crazy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So is there a way that you can make it a bit cheaper than the market?
Oh, yeah, because actually the actual cup of coffee,
Okay.
what they sell, the specialty coffee for 20, 25 dirhams,
Yeah.
it's like 1 dirham. The cost to them is like 1 dirham.
What a rip-off.
I swear to God.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 1 dirham. And I was like, wow. That is the margin they make, but then they tell you, yes, because we train our baristas and we give them all these like amazing certifications and we send them to competitions or whatever. But it's fun. Look, in the end of the day, a lot of the times you pay for the vibe, you pay for the experience, which is the same with Starbucks. They know that this is nothing, but because it has the green everything and that woman, I don't know, is it a woman or a man with long hair? I don't know. It looks like it's a woman with long hair. Yeah, it's a woman with long hair.
I mean, I don't know if we can gender.
No, it's definitely
we don't know what she is,
but yeah, we can't, or it
Call
with
it
long
it,
hair, whatever it was. yeah, because now there's like man, woman, and it or something, right? You got to be careful, and if you're in the States, some places
exactly
they already have laws for that.
Yeah. So you cannot mention.
Yeah, it's good.
Them
Yeah,
and
no,
their.
actually, yeah, there are certain passports now. They don't put the gender. It's like man, woman, like male, female.
Yeah,
You can't
you can't. They don't. Yeah, I think in Canada, like
or NA, not applicable. No, can you? No. It is.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, but like I heard this whole thing happened with Dr. Jordan Peterson, the psychologist.
Yes, I love him. Oh my God, he is so cool.
Yeah.
Do you like Jordan Peterson?
I like him.
He's so cool, man.
Yeah.
He's really like switched on.
He's switched on, and what I like about him is like he's bringing the old school mentality with the and
modern twist.
Yeah, like he's relevant also to the youth. Like we
Yeah.
can understand. Like I'm 28
Yeah.
and I listen to him. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like he's so old school. Like he's exactly what my father's trying to teach me, but my father's failing at it.
Yeah.
So that's what he does. You know what I mean? Like he's like disciplined and just be good. And like with his book is amazing. Have you read the
No.
12 rules for life? It's basic things. Like it's not too complicated. Everybody can read it. It's very enjoyable, and it's just basically telling you to be more disciplined.
Interesting.
Yeah, like in order to fix the world, just fix your bedroom before you leave your house and start with your bedroom. That's his
Very
biggest
similar
thing.
to another book that I know.
Just read it. Is that what?
I don't know. Maybe there's a book called. Is there?
I think Just Read is very similar to
I heard of that book. I don't know.
You don't know?
Who wrote that book?
I think somebody by Amir or Omar.
Really?
How did you write a book at a young age, man? That's
Yeah, you know, I get, one of the things which is sometimes, especially amongst with an Arabic audience. And by the way, a lot of the times when I'm invited to speak in front of an Arabic audience, I refuse to do it, because every time I go in front of an Arabic audience, they ask me several questions before even they have not read my book. They tell me, "Okay, what's your book about?" I tell them it's like a self-help book. They say, "Do you have a degree in psychology?" I'm like, "No." "Do you have a certification in life coach?" I said, "No." How old are you?" I'm like, 32, but at the time that I wrote it, I was like 26. Okay, so what qualifies you to write a book about self-help and you're this young and you don't have any certification? You know what I tell them? I'm like, well, the last 25 years of life.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh.
But the thing is, I mean, different. You could, for example, by the way, sometimes somebody can tell you, "Oh, I have 25 years of experience." Yani, well done to you. But they have 25 years of the same experience every year.
Yeah.
Not different experience. There's lots of people like that, by the way.
True.
Absolutely true. And
Yeah.
then for someone like me who's gone through stuff like this, what I try to do is I go out and I do a lot of talks and I tell people don't do certain things, don't say certain things, whatever, avoid certain. Like one of the reasons, the first time I got fired from a job,
Yeah.
I hated my boss. And I sent an email to a friend of mine and I said something really bad about my boss in the email. And then when you write certain words to describe certain people, even if it was true. But anyways.
But I heard that in your TED Talk, you were 18. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't think you knew any better at that
Yeah,
time.
but no, but I mean,
Yeah.
but when someone goes to work, I mean, for me, for example, if I had someone who just tell me, don't say certain words or don't say certain things or whatever, but it was so silly. And you saw the TED Talk. Basically, I shouldn't have said certain things in an email. Like, why would you say that?
Why would you say that?
A lot of people hate their bosses. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people out there who hate their bosses,
Yeah.
but just don't say it to them. Don't say it to their face, one. Don't say it to a colleague. And don't say it using a work email. Go outside and vent or do whatever you want, or just, go shooting or go like freaking MMA or hunting or whatever,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
to blow your steam off.
Yeah,
So
true,
yeah.
true.
So yes, this is what happens. So when you do all these silly things, I learned my lesson, and I tell people, not because I'm proud of it, but even when you ask me, can we share this? It's because I want other people to avoid making the same mistakes.
That's true. That's true.
That's
true.
it.
I mean, yeah. But being young is. Don't you believe that mistakes are good for you?
Yeah, I mean, I always say bad decisions make good stories.
Good stories, and also like you
True.
know, like there's a Syrian saying like ما حد بيتعلم غير من كيسه, which means you only learn from your bag of experiences.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry you guys lost to Jordan.
Okay.
In the spirit of the Asian Football Championship happening right now in Abu Dhabi, I had to say
I don't want to talk about that. Sorry.
They have a new coach now who's also Syrian, so it probably will be...
Who has a new coach is Syrian? Whose coach is
the
Syrian?
team.
Our coach is German.
He resigned. No, he was fired.
Or that game.
Yeah, after that game.
He deserves to be
Obviously.
fired.
So look, he doesn't even know. Where in Al-Wataniya? Where's the, oh, come on.
I was born and raised here, so if anything, I should support you.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. That was a good one. That was actually a really good, well, yeah.
But I'm not. I'm into soccer, but I'm not into like choosing a team.
I think you're a basketball
doesn't
guy.
make sense.
You're a basketball guy. No?
No, I'm saying in any game, I don't like to take sides. I don't like to choose
yeah?
teams. I feel like it's very tribal. As we have to like evolve and not to be aggressive, I feel like choosing a team is a very tribal thing. Like
That's
red or
very
white.
interesting. Very tribal.
Yeah, because think about it this way.
Tell us more about that. Yeah.
Actually, so it's your show, man. I got drifted.
I want to hear this. Go on. No, I want to know more. Seriously.
Okay, so back in the day, like we had to choose a tribe in order to secure our families, secure ourselves. So you had to choose somebody, like wherever you come from or whatever when you're traveling, you come across tribes, and you stay with them, and you also have to defend them, and they have to defend you when you're traveling.
Okay.
So it's either you're from that tribe or you're passing by them, and that's where the rules. It's just like
Interesting.
No
I
rules.
didn't know that.
So now everybody has their own flag, everybody have their own culture. So the reason why we're into sports is because of the tribal mentality. Like we have to choose somebody, and that somebody has to win that somebody. You get a kick out of it. You get a good feeling. Why? Why do you want white to win and not red, or vice versa?
Yeah.
Why do you get sad? And especially, think about it. That will break everything. People in the Middle East love the Spanish league.
Yes.
Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
99% of them never been there.
Yes.
Don't speak Spanish, have nothing to do with their culture, nothing to do with it. But they choose one team and they stick with it, and they become very tribal with that.
Yeah.
They carry it with pride.
I've seen fights
You
break
see-
out because of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fights, proper fights, and people
Yeah.
hate each other, and they stop talking to each other. It's just simple. You have to know your brain, and it's just the
Yeah.
tribal mentality. That's how you evolved, and that's just that's what it comes from.
Do you know that someone got killed?
So many people died, man, because of this. So many people. I don't know about here, but like
No.
yeah.
I saw in Lebanon, there was somebody supporting. I think it was Germany, and I think the Germany played against like Spain or something, or some country, and that country. Oh no, it was Germany. I think it was against Croatia or something, or Brazil and Croatia. So one of the teams that played against each other, one team lost, and the other person stabbed this person. Like during they had an argument about So
I mean, that's what.
you asked me earlier about the book, right?
Yeah.
So why did I write the book? I wrote the book because I have one thing that really annoys me, that when I give speeches and I talk about stuff and people don't take notes, I'm like, I get like OCD. I'm like, why are you not taking notes? So I used to do this all the time, and I used to speak a lot in different schools, universities, about the attitude of an entrepreneur. So I love the subject of entrepreneurship, and the government here in the UAE, they want to encourage the youth to go, open up a business and stuff like this, because they want them to not depend on oil revenues or working for the government sector. Because I had so many experiences in setting up businesses and failing and whatever, I used to give these talks, and when I would go to the schools or universities, and I would tell them about, I would prepare like a deck, like slides, PowerPoint slides, about the attitude of an entrepreneur, like the importance about communication, networking, so many different things. And I would ask these girls, I'll be like, how do you come to my class every week and you don't take notes? How do you remember the stuff that I'm talking about? So one of the girls sitting in the front, she's like, we like to listen to you speak, but we don't like taking notes. Why don't you write a book? I said, you know what? I'll write a damn book.
Wow.
That was it.
That was the, what age? 24?
So
25?
24, 25. So around
Okay.
that time. So even when I finished writing it, so some people think it's a book for business, or some people it's for life, or some people for whatever. So you know what? I don't know what the book is actually even about anymore. Like I know it's within the self-help category, but actually it could be about anything and whatever you want it to be. It's how it resonates with you. So I didn't know what to call it. So I have a friend of mine, and I told her, I was like, look, this book, I really just want people to just read it, like whatever, whatever, just read whatever I wrote. She's like, call it that. I was like, what? She's like, just read it. I was like, are you serious? I went online. I couldn't believe that of the millions of books published, there's no book called Just Read It.
Subhanallah.
I know, right here
You
from
got
UAE.
lucky. So you wrote that book.
Yeah.
You published it when you were 26. That was 2013, 14?
Yeah.
No,
14, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. And how what was the market reaction?
Yeah, in the beginning, so first the book came out, it was published as an ebook.
Okay.
And the book, it went into so many different like platforms, and even on airplanes. Like it was an ebook on an audiobook on airplanes. A lot of people downloaded the book. I have people like tagging me from Panama, from like Argentina, Colombia.
Wow.
I'm like, what the hell? How they find out? So it went really well, and then people over here obviously were asking me, can we have the physical book?
Yeah.
So the physical book, then the hard copy came out, it was published, and I'm really happy, alhamdulillah. Like lots of organizations got it for their staff. I spoke at the London Book Fair, I spoke at the Frankfurt Book Fair, I spoke in Sharjah Book Fair, like a lot of different book fairs, and it's been doing really well, in that sense. So I kind of got sick and tired of promoting the book, to be honest, and a lot of the times people kept telling me, okay, like we like this because it's not too big, it's only 125 pages, and they said, okay, so what's next? And I was like, I don't know. And in my head, I never thought, okay, should I write another one? Like what the hell, like a series or something. And I looked up, but actually there's a book called What's Next already, and I thought of calling the book What's Next, but I decided to call my second book, Why Jobs Are for Robots and Life is for People.
Why jobs are for robots and life of people. So was it about AI or something?
Exactly. So look, in the first book, I talked about EQ and IQ, whatever. So emotional quotient or intelligence quotient, whatever, right? Or emotional and social intelligence. In the second book, I'm going to focus on this thing called the AQ and the LQ in the age of AI. Artificial intelligence. So, LQ, which Jack Ma talked about, which is love quotient, and AQ talks about agility quotient. How agile are we going to be in the future? Today, the hot topic is about futurism and how AI is taking over.
Can you just
so many
go back a
things.
second and tell us the difference between those two?
So AQ and LQ.
Yeah.
So now look. Now that we have artificial intelligence, like the thing is, we've always had artificial intelligence for a long time, and from the past, in the 1940s and everything. The thing is today, it is disrupting things much, much, much faster than it was before. Because today, there's data is being captured in so many different technological, let's say, devices, and AI is being used to change a lot of things quickly, like banking. A lot of things are happening, like online banking, digital this, digital everything. So when all these changes are happening, okay, Mo, how agile are we going to be? So how adaptable or how flexible are we going to be with these new changes? And the people hate changes.
Correct.
Like everybody, the biggest challenge for organizations, for country leaders and everything is change management. People don't like new rules. They love being in their comfort zone, and they don't like changing stuff. So I remember my mom was so scared of using the ATM machine. She was used to going to the bank to get her money. She thought that if she puts money into this ATM, it will take her money and steal her money away. Well, my mom was like scared that way. So people like us, when every time they launch a new app or new device or new something, we have to, like, this Alexa and whatever, and all these things like this, the smart speakers at home. We're going to have to adapt to these things. It's the walls and the things are going to be talking to us. So this is one. Now, whether you want to do it or not is a different thing, but you have to adopt to embrace it. Embrace the idea of its existence. Embrace it's going to be amongst us, and robots are going to be amongst us. Now, LQ and what Jack Ma was talking about, love quotient. Now, The problem with AI and with the problem with technology is, unfortunately, it causes a lot of distance between people. And you remember before, when people would just sit down in a coffee shop normally, whatever. Now everybody's like holding their phone and chatting and God knows what. But this mode, like, you got in touch with me through social media, and now we're sitting and chatting. And this is what what Jack Ma was talking about, what schools, what parents, what everybody has to be teaching the new generation, is that we still have to love each other, love our surroundings, love what we do. Like, we still have to have the...
But how do you do it?
So when there's time to use technology, we use technology. And when there's time to connect like this, we connect. We have to agree that, look, during this time, I'm not going to take my phone and go through my messages or whatever. Just before we came live on this, I put it on silent. I put it far away from me, not even over here, so to see who's going to text me.
Yeah.
Whatever urgency it is, I will look at it when this session is over. So we have to remember.
Sorry, one
LQ. I was telling you about the importance about we loving each other and loving what we do.
Yeah.
And basically, you asked me, what do we do about this? How do we get into like loving each other and everything else? We just disconnect. We learn to balance. And the problem is with the world is we just don't balance stuff. We don't balance how much we consume. We don't balance how much time we spend with family versus work versus whatever. Like, you know, we put too much importance on certain things which aren't that important. And today, you look at people like in Japan, they're super depressed and whatever because they spend much more time working than they're spending time with family or, you know, with each other. Like, they're so obsessed with that. So we need to learn. Literally, like, that's why one of the jobs that are going to be very important in the future are people like therapists and people that work with people. And that's why they tell you those skills about emotional intelligence, like soft skills, are going to be very important for the future, because there's so much the technology that's going to take over and stuff that the skills that we need to develop and enhance and actually will make us a lot of money too are soft skills. So, you know, when we communicate and we engage with each other and you know, think like, you know, use critical thinking. So the machines will be making predictions on the forecast of a stock or whatever. But then your interpersonal skills will win you the client, yes or no, because so many other people so many other companies are going to have all this AI to do investment for your money. But the difference, what will make you different? Like if you had a bank or you're a banker from another banker, it's your communication skills. The more that you're able to develop that rapport and that connection with the client, the more chances you have to win that client for your company or your bank.
I see.
So this is what I'm talking about. So the book is going to be split into 3 different things. One, I'm talking about the industries that are being disrupted, the jobs of the future, and then lastly, the skills of the future. And what I did is I did a lot of interviews. I interviewed people in Europe. I interviewed people in the US. I interviewed people over here. I had the Minister of Higher Education and Advanced Skills, the Minister of Future Food Security, like different people who contributed to this book. And it's much more research-based than the first book. The first book wasn't really like too much research-based. It was really like a lot of my own ideas at the time.
Yeah.
This time, I said, you know, I'm going to make this book different. I will literally take all the words and all the content from different people that I meet and incorporate it into the book. So as a writer, I'm just literally taking their message to the world. So it's not Omar Al Busaidy's message. It's literally everybody else's message to everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the last chapter, skills of the future.
Yes, sir.
How near is that future?
It's already here. To be honest,
okay.
right now it is definitely here. I mean, when you look at, so one of the things that I have right now, one of my jobs is I'm a radio host of a show called Future Talk on Pulse 95 Radio. And I talk about the future. I pick up these different like news pieces from around the world with what's happening everywhere from China to the US on how artificial intelligence is evolving every day and how it's actually being used right now. Imagine this. Imagine in China right now, they have a social credit score. So based on all this artificial intelligence that it can monitor people and it knows how other people have scored you. Like, so if you have a low credit score, they can slow down your internet. You'll be banned from traveling or buying a ticket to fly from one place to another or using the public transportation or so many different things. I mean, this stuff is in the series Black Mirror. if you watch on Netflix. It's insane. I cannot believe it's already happening in China today.
But can AI outsmart? Like, I mean, like.
But this is AI already.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's becoming too smart. Have you heard recently about when happened, like a software was like AI?
Mm-hmm.
They were talking their own language with another software.
Yes, that was that was in Facebook, and then they shut it down because they couldn't understand.
That thing's too scary.
So what happened is Facebook wanted to. I think it was in Facebook or Google. What they did is they created they wanted the AI to create like this algorithm, whatever, or language that only the AI could speak to each other.
Yeah.
But at the same time that they could understand. But for some reason, they couldn't understand what they were talking about. And these two robots were like talking to each other. And then they had to shut it down. But they said, it was only for 5 minutes. And nothing else came out of that story. Because they couldn't understand what was going on. They were like,
so
something's happening.
So the future is scary then. It might be. Like if these things start taking control and start talking to each other.
Everyone said only one thing, Mo, which is that, look, the future is scary when it comes to this whole artificial intelligence story, but it only comes down to one thing. You only need one nutcase who's a genius in developing code and these algorithms and putting the wrong code in it, and it will do the wrong things. You know what? If you think about it, it's like your child. If you do not raise your child properly and you tell your child to do the wrong things, like to steal, to cheat, to kill, to whatever, that's what they're going to grow up learning, and that's what they're going to end up doing. These machines are exactly the same thing. They're the making of our own doing, right? So when we give it a certain code of ethics or non-ethics about what is good and what is not good, then it will only end up giving you those results. So energy out equals to energy in, whatever we input.
So there's no one point that AI can choose for itself.
So
is that impossible?
I'll tell you this. Right now, there's two schools of thoughts.
Okay.
You have people like Elon Musk thinks that they can have cognitive skills. So they're able to make up their own. But then people like Mark Zuckerberg are saying no. So there's two schools of thoughts. Like, you know what? I mean, today...
I think Mark is only saying that because he makes more money out of it than Elon Musk. Elon Musk has nothing to do with AI, but Mark is saying because he needs AI in his system.
Most likely. Yeah, I understand. But you know what? I don't discount anything. Today, you know, as much as we keep saying like impossible is not, there's so many things that we've seen in the world that we've said just a couple of years ago, it's impossible, but look at what's happening right now. So, you know, right now, and all these things that you see in the movies, like in The Matrix and God knows what, I'm telling you, there's so much of it coming into reality. You're like, oh my God, it's only a matter of time. Like I always say, I love the one word that I always use on my radio show. I always use the word yet. So this hasn't happened yet. That's it. Because if you want to be futuristic, literally, you have to believe in the word yet, because the world is literally full of like unlimited possibilities.
But don't you think we're moving too fast? Like,
we are
to adapt right
That's
now.
why I told you the importance of AQ, because every time people say exactly those words, they say, are we not moving too fast? Are we not? Who are you going to control? Today, the leaders of AI and everything else, honestly, is in China. It's not the US. We maybe may read a lot of stuff happening in Silicon Valley or whatever. They get better press and obviously English. But in China, they are killing it. They are on another level. I was in China last year, and I'm telling you, man, that place...
It's crazy.
Yeah. They're doing things like it's insane.
What are they doing? I mean, like, it doesn't make sense with the whole China thing, because they don't have Facebook, but they can have AI.
No. But they don't have Facebook. Doesn't mean that they have another platform. They have their own. They don't have Google. They have Baidu.
Okay.
They don't have... they have their own.
Oh, okay.
They have, they have a social media platform. They have all these things, but they're very smart. You know, by the way, you know, today, when you go on the internet and you type a website, it's www, that is American www.
Yeah.
They're creating their own. In the future, we will choose whether we want to go on the American internet or the Chinese internet.
Wow.
They are working on that right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been to China?
Yeah.
Just for a holiday or just...
No, I went for work. Actually, surprisingly, I went for a book signing for my book, Just Read It.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Okay.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
So it's been like 4 or 5 years now. You're just still doing the tours and the press for
Yeah,
just
yeah. It's still going on. I mean, I'm invited to speak this year.
Okay, where?
Yeah. Actually, surprisingly, I was invited to go and speak at a church next weekend.
Nice, here in Abu
Yeah,
Dhabi?
in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Yeah. So they want me to go and speak about tolerance, because in the UAE it's the year of tolerance. So I'm really honored. I mean, they said, look, we've read your book. We know what your book is about. And you seem cool. Really? But anyways, point is, I'm going to be speaking about tolerance.
How amazing did it feel when you wrote that book and people, it influenced people to do something better in their life?
Yeah. Some people quit their jobs. Some people it feels great. You know, when I get messages, people are like, oh, some people didn't quit their job. There's a person who said, I read something about, there's a part in the book where I talk about don't take risks, take calculated risks. So this person was like, oh my God, I literally was about to quit my job and I didn't have anything for me. And I thought about so many other things after I read your book, and you saved me from making a really big mistake. I was like, yeah.
But like I was just walking outside and there's a quote by Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid.
Yeah.
It said,
the biggest risk is not taking a risk.
Yeah.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
But like, remember, he didn't use the word calculated risk.
Yeah.
This is what he means.
Yeah.
Calculated risk.
But
they're
you gotta
very
take
important.
risks,
Again, you gotta take calculated risk. What's the difference between a risk and a calculated risk?
Tell me.
Let's say you want to open a business, and you risk going into the business, and you know, like, and let's say the money that you have is actually money that you are going to, you know, it's you have a family with you, and you're supposed to be paying for the school fees and everything else, and using that money, and the school fees is like tomorrow you have to pay for this, and then in the same time you put your money in the stock market, or you're going to open a business, you give them, that's taking a really massive risk. Okay. That's not a calculated, but if you a calculated risk, let's say you have extra money,
But what if you don't?
What if you don't?
You're really privileged if you have extra money, and then you're like, okay, I covered my kids, I covered this and that. So that extra, whatever it is, I'll put it in stocks. I'll go 50-50 with somebody.
But you could, yes,
but that you're very privileged.
So, but
sometimes in life,
the way you do it, you take a calculated risk because look, so let me tell you this. So the way you have to think about it is, what is the risk of that not happening? Like, for example, your kids, or your kid not getting a medication. Let's say if the kid did not get the medication, they were going to die or something like that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%.
So the calculated risk is understanding the priorities or the repercussion. Like, what would be the consequence? Yeah. What's the consequence of you making that decision?
Okay. These are hard decisions, and I agree with you. Anybody with children should not really risk their life. But let's talk about young people. Let's talk about the people in their 20s.
True.
And jobs that they don't want to be in, but they just don't want to make that move and quitting because they're used to that income every month. And that's like, they're used to that lifestyle.
That is in the first page of the book, which is first you need to get out of your safety net.
That's what I'm saying.
That's different. So that even in that, I explained so much in the book about what they should be doing and why they should consider that. And, you know, and again, if it doesn't have major repercussions on the well-being, not only your own well-being, but maybe other people's well-being around you in your family. Let's say you're looking after your mom or your whatever, you know, even if you're a young person, then don't do that risk. But if you can withstand the storm, no matter how bad it gets, then go ahead and do it.
I agree with you. I think it just doesn't make sense to be somewhere that you don't want to be just because you're taking somebody's place.
Because in the end of the day, sometimes there are some people who are strong enough to, you know, we read the stories about so many entrepreneurs who are able to take rejections or this. There are other people who not even a small rejection. If a girl decided not to date some guy, sometimes they go off and get like drunk, do drugs, and do God knows what. They go off like in a really bad way. They're very weak like that. Like emotionally, they're very weak.
I agree with you. So it starts from there. Like, I mean, you have to be more disciplined. You have to take rejection. But if you're like really, it just saddens me when I think about it. These people just everybody. We're all humans. We all have our fears. We all have our weaknesses. But like, you gotta make a move. Like, you gotta face it.
True.
Yeah.
And in the end of the day, you know, everything's an opinion. just because I wrote it in the book is not a holy book. It's not biblical, right?
Yeah.
You can choose to decide what route you want to take. If you really want to take that risk and not a calculated risk, then you know what? Tell us the story afterwards.
You know what I heard and really like, out of all these books and the philosophers and psychologists, that simple number I heard, it's not really simple at all, but the chances of you being born is 1 out of 400 trillion. The chances of you being born.
Wow.
1 out of 400 trillion. Yani, when you think about that number, you're like, I am going to be grateful for every moment, just when you think.
Yeah.
So you being on this planet Earth in 2019, that's by itself, like, you know what I mean? It's not like you're being born year 100 or something.
Yeah, true.
It's just amazing.
I know, huh?
Yeah.
Are you happy to be born?
Alhamdulillah, like, you know what I mean? When I start, like, when you open up your mind and start thinking about these things, you're like,
Do you think you've lived for too long?
I've lived for too long? Actually, I was thinking this on the way here. I'm 28. I'm like, the life expectancy for like a man is about like 60 to 70. I'm like, I just lived half of my life. Like, it's half of it, boom, gone.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So I'm like, like the other half has to be really interesting.
I think I've lived my time.
What do you mean?
Khalas, I think it's enough.
You've done enough?
32. I'm turning 33 in March. I'm done. I mean, I think I'm glad, you know, God gave me good life and everything else. But I feel like, you know, also at the same time,
that you've khalas, you've done
I've
your
done
thing.
everything, written my book, I'm done. I traveled the world.
Have you had enough specialty coffees?
Oh yeah, more than my fair share. I think we're consuming too much out of this world. We're giving way too much. We're taking away too much. And there's so many more people being born.
So there's enough
We need
place for them.
we have to make more room for them.
Australia is still empty.
Actually, Antarctica is empty. Do you know that everybody on the planet is entitled to a plot in Antarctica?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, man. Just move there.
Yeah.
Next episode's coming.
With the penguins.
Amar, thank you
Habibi.
for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Definitely
It's been an honor.
100% part 2.
Thank you so much, Mo.
Still, I need to learn a lot about this AI, GI, CI, QI.
I'm all yours.
Habibi.
Habibi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Habibi. Thank you.
Thank you so much.